All right, so I just had someone ask me today, Ryan, why are you telling people to stop eating plant foods? How are they going to get their essential nutrients? Well, for the record, when he says plant foods, he means things like vegetables, grains, nuts, seeds, beans, legumes, anything that comes from a plant, basically. My response here, which nutrients are you talking about? Which essential nutrients do you miss out on eating an animal-based diet? What can you only get from plants? Because I'll wait for the response every time, and normally you're not going to hear one because it doesn't exist. Now, does this mean I think plant foods are evil? No, I still eat plenty of fruit, a few vegetables, things like carrots, the odd leafy green salad from time to time. But as a nutritionist and someone who's been around the block a lot of time, used to compete at a high level, I do not believe plant-based eating should make up the majority of most people's diets. Why? Well, it's pretty simple. It's suboptimal food. Plants have a ton of negatives when you try and make them the staple of your diet. Natural defense toxins, things like oxalates, phytic acid, tannins, lectins, phytoestrogens, things that all plants make naturally to deter and kill whatever is trying to eat them. Because just like every single living organism on this planet, they've evolved to live, to survive. On the other hand, while you can be completely optimal eating only animal foods, you can't eating strictly plant foods. You will be deficient. And there are a plethora of things that are essential nutrients that are literally impossible to get from vegetables, from plant foods alone, that you can only get from animal foods. And as a guy who's been studying nutrition for 20 years now, I've been on both sides of this fence. I used to think, you had to have 3-4 servings of vegetables a day, and that was critical for optimal health. And I honestly don't believe that to be true anymore. In fact, there's a lot of things that people think are healthy or are superfoods that I wouldn't let my kids eat ever. Things like broccoli, spinach, kale, almonds even, nut butters, brown rice, chia seeds. A lot of these foods that you've been taught and told to think are health foods, they're just simply not. You, like me, for a long time, have been duped. And for years, I was a nutritionist, a trainer who advocated a high plant-based diet. And I've converted to a guy who eats 3 pounds of meat a day now because I've been in the trenches. I've worked with hundreds of guys since then. I've dove real deep into the legitimate research and studies, comparing, my blood panels, my health markers, and just seeing how much better I feel, how much better my life has gotten in general. The debate is over for me and for the types of guys I work with these days, because especially if you're a guy who wants to look, feel, perform your best into your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, just for as long as humanly possible. If you want that, if you want to feel that way, if you want to live your best version, it means you have to have healthy hormones, optimal testosterone, healthy metabolic flexibility. And most fit lifestyles are trash, including a lot of the stuff I used to preach. It's short-term gain, long-term pain. And if you're choosing plant-based eating over animal, thinking you're being healthier, it's like filling your McLaren with diesel fuel, expecting it to run properly. It's not going to end the way you want. It's inferior, it's suboptimal, whatever you want to call it. It's actually unhealthier in every way that I can think of. The only real superfoods are the OG animal foods. Whole eggs, beef, liver, salmon, grass-fed butter, bone broth. It's not broccoli, it's not chickpeas, it's not the $10 green juice or whatever the flavor of the week is. And it's not a coincidence that vegans need supplements or they become seriously deficient in numerous things, and if neglected, they end up with serious health problems. That's not something you see with people who focus mainly on animal-based eating. So am I saying go carnivore? That's the solution? That's the be-all, end-all? No, I'm not a carnivore. Most people shouldn't be. The right types of carbohydrates, sugars, fruits, utilized at the right times, it's great for your thyroid. It's great for a lot of things. It gives you a massive advantage, and it's a game changer for building a standout, jacked physique. Better insulin response, thyroid function, better protein synthesis, more hypertrophy, aka more muscle. And muscle isn't just for picking heavy things up and vanity. It's the longevity organ. It's the greatest predictor for the quality of life you're going to have long term. It's the greatest predictor for disease survivability. So forget the calorie obsessing, forget the clean eating the way you have been told to do it. Forget trying to live in some mythical calorie deficit. Forget the diets that feel like some constant job or sacrifice. Eat the right foods at the right times. Nutrients matter a lot more than calories. Food timing and frequency, getting your hormones, things like testosterone, working like an asset rather than a liability. Those things matter. These are the cheat code, but they're the things that don't get talked about. And a big reason why is because the genetically blessed Instagram trainers with glistening baby oiled abs, they usually have good intentions. They want to help you. Yes, they do. They just don't know how. And they don't know any different. They only know what they have done. They only know what has worked for them, which isn't going to work for you. It's not going to work for long. It doesn't work for the 95% of the population with normal genetics. And you might be looking at me thinking, I am one of those guys, but I swear to you, if you saw pictures of me starting out, you would think differently. I don't have a genetically blessed bone in my body. And honestly, rarely are solutions found in absolutes and extremes, which is exactly why I created the stacked diet method. And it only took me 15 years to figure out most of this stuff after doing everything pretty much wrong. And if you're a guy who has lofty ambitions, want to, reach your pinnacle, your apex, the Modern Alpha Project might be for you. It's for the 10% of guys who want to look, feel, perform their best, guys who know that they're not cut out for mediocrity. They don't want average. They know they have more potential on the table. They have busy lives. They don't want to live some fitness influencer way of doing it. Guys willing or unwilling to accept average. So with Modern Alpha Project and the stacked method, over the next 6 months, I'm going to mentor you. I'm going to show you how we build this out for your specific life. I've done it for all sorts of guys, from pro athletes to guys who are on the road 250 days a year, oil patch workers who work shift work, away from home all the time, entrepreneurs who thought they would never be able to get in shape or build the body they want because they're so busy. I'll tell you what, if they can do it, if I can do it, because I'll tell you firsthand, I can't do what most people are selling. There's no chance in hell. And life is too short to live anything suboptimal. You don't want to live less than what you know you're capable of. So let's get your confidence back. Let's get you back to feeling like the man you want to be, unstoppable. And Modern Alpha Project, since we launched a few months ago, has a near 100% success rate. So you have a lot to gain and nothing to lose. And that's on my word. If you are not happy, if we don't reach your goals by the end of this thing, I will refund you every penny. I'm going to do everything in my power to help you get where you want. So click the link, DM me anytime if you have questions, or comment the word alpha if you want more information and to see if you're a good candidate for the program. Take care.